What's going on, YouTube? Man, do I have a story for you guys. So, I went to New York this weekend to get the D23 promos. And let's start from the beginning. So, I get there just after they closed on Thursday. I get into Times Square and I see that there's people lining up. It's like 15 people already at like 9:30. So I go back to the spot. I change. I get everything I need to basically camp out. I get there around 11 o'clock. I get my spot in line. I'm 29th in line, and people are talking like, "Oh, there's only going to be like one product per person." We're like kind of confused because everyone's hearing that over in the European regions and Australia, they were given up to 5 products per person. And they were allocated some places 2,000 or more per store. So we're like, well, maybe that'll change, whatever. Not a big deal, we'll take what they give us. Um, so, I'm camping out with everyone. Some people have been there since 3 p.m. on Thursday. And we camped and we're right in front of the Disney store. And I would say every hour from 11 o'clock on, you're getting on average 25 people gets added to the line. So, we're gaining steady. And fast forward till about 3 a.m., which originally I was going to plan on leaving, going there around 3 a.m. 3 a.m., there had to be at least 150 people in line. So, fast forward to around 7, you start seeing a lot of people strolling up. The line is, I think, a total of 7 blocks long. So it's insanely long. I've never been in a line this long. Like, thankfully, I was 29th. But as for everyone else that was in the back, I don't really know. I don't know what they were gonna do because that line was so long that when you're at the back of it, you're no longer even on the same street. You can't even see Times Square anymore. It's far. So, but earlier in the night, the guy in the front line, he was like, you know what? I've done this before. We're gonna keep everyone accountable. I'm gonna give you guys these tickets so you guys know what order you're in. So if anybody shows up and they don't have a ticket, they cut the line. Really good idea. Like, it keeps everyone accountable. You know who cuts, and it's like, hey, we have proof this person cut, whatever. So we had our tickets. That's how we knew what order we were before we even got our official tickets from the Disney staff. So what ended up happening was, they're coming out and they're giving you tickets and they're asking what you want. And right when they started to do that, a bunch of people we didn't notice because, we were pretty tight in the front of the line. Like, we introduced ourselves to each person, we got to know each other, we made friends. All of a sudden, we see like a whole family came out of nowhere. I want to say it was like 10 people. And you hear the guys in front of them and behind them being like, I don't know who these people are. They definitely weren't in line. Here's our tickets. We're definitely not, they're definitely not in our group. They skipped the line. But by now, everything's crazy. The Disney people are just trying to keep people from, getting out of line and keeping everything orderly. So they're like, well, we don't really care what happened. Just everyone get in a line and figure it out. But, everyone's like, it's starting to cause a scene and people are starting arguing. The cops show up. It starts getting a little crazy. So, naturally when that happens, people are like, you know what, whatever. I'll just let it slide because I'm already in the front of the line anyways. It's not going to matter. But the guy directly behind him was like pissed because, naturally he his whole family is just, right in front of him. And you sound like locals because, they definitely have the accents and everything, super New York, like real New York. But when I saw these people stroll in, I want to say it was like 7:30. Like it was much later because that guy had been sitting there at least 1 a.m., maybe even earlier, maybe even like midnight. So we're like, whatever, we let it blow over. I get inside and I grab my ticket. I basically have mine secured. And I asked the first person, like, how many of the product do you guys have with the D23s? It's like, oh, we don't really know. And I asked the next person, they don't know. Third person is like, well, apparently not enough. And I get to the counter and ask, and they say that there was only just over 100. 100. So you're saying there's easily over 1,000 people outside. They think they're gonna get one. There's literally only just over 100. And I was 29. And there was a bunch of people behind me. The guy who got cut was the first person not to get a ticket. And he was mad. Like, understandably so. He was really upset. And he basically got screwed out of getting his promos. But the entire family in front of him did. Every single one of them. So, long story short, I'm, starting to see online all of the allocations, I think even in Florida, have been shorted. Like, they're not even getting more than 300. And I think it's like between 1 and 250, depending on the location. And from what I'm seeing, all these lines are insanely long. There are thousands of people. Like, I think that one was probably around 2,000. And this one in New York, I naturally couldn't go to the back of the line that once, it was starting, but it probably grew to about 1,500, 2,000 people. So there are not many of these around. So if you see these online for a reasonable price, I would say like under $400, you should buy that, because there's a lot of people who spent time, got plane tickets, waited all night just to get it and couldn't. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna buy them online right now. So if you're seeing this and you still want this, get it now, because it's gonna be the cheapest it's ever gonna be. This is Chef with Quest for Game, and yeah, subscribe below if you haven't already. But have a good one.